What sort of democracy brings you and you grab everything illegally, corruptly, and you say go to court? When you know that even in the court you cannot get justice. Democracy is failing. Democracy is dying.
Chief Obasanjo was close, but not quite. Democracy is not failing in Nigeria. Democracy is not dying in Nigeria. Democracy has failed in Nigeria. Democracy has died in Nigeria. Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Fred Wanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Highland TV. And as usual, I like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world. Now, whether you like me or not, whether you like Igbos or not, whether you like obedience or not, that's irrelevant. I want you to hear what non-Igbo Nigerians, especially significant Yorubas and Fulanis, are saying about the Igbo situation and the Peter Obi presidential candidacy in Nigeria. And while you may not like me because I speak the truth bluntly, as a Yoruba person, I want to say it for the 50,000th time. I'm an Igbo man, but my second tribe in Nigeria is the Yoruba tribe. I love Yorubas. For the most part, I don't like Yoruba politics. Just like I don't like Fulani compromised Igbo people. I'm not against Yorubas. I am for Yorubas until it comes to the Tiwa politics. Now listen to Dele Farotimi, one person who doesn't play the Tiwa politics. Listen to him talk about the Peter Obi candidacy.
Yes, I'm supporting Mr. Peter Obi because we've gotten to that point where it is no longer an option to sit on the fence. We are in very critical times. Everybody have to find where they stand and play out their conviction. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm not becoming a politician. But here is the thing. I know the process by which I arrived at my support for Mr. Peter Obi, and I was not swayed by slogans. I interrogated his vision. I demanded answers. I asked substantive questions, and I didn't ask just as Dele Farotimi. I'm a member of Afenifere. We spoke with Mr. Peter Obi even at the level of the SLMBF, that's the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum. We met with him, interrogated him, interviewed him, and we were satisfied that he represents a different path into the Nigerian future. That is the primary basis of supporting him. He's not just, I don't want anything from this. I'm not interested in political office. But I need to believe that Nigeria can be saved for my children and for every other person. That's the basis of my involvement. So the slogans that you see must be interrogated. I have interrogated Mr. Peter Obi's claims. I've interrogated the plans that he has placed forward. I've had occasion to critique some. I know as a fact that he doesn't go as far as I will go in relation to some things, but then I'm not a politician. I have the luxury of being able to express my, shall I say, desires without thinking about political correctness or without thinking about whether somebody's feathers will be ruffled or not.
Now listen to this former Yoruba military officer who fought in the Biafra-Nigeria war. You could consider him today at his age a Yoruba chieftain. Listen to what he says about denying Igbos participation in Nigeria's policy making.
If Nigeria continue to deny leadership to Igbo people, then this country will not move forward. Will not move forward at all. Because we are having a race, an Igbo race, that are so intelligent, so industrious, so powerful. We saw them on the war front. We know what Igbo is. They are capable of developing the economy of this country. They are the only people that can develop the economy of this country. They have tested Yoruba, the North. Let us test Igbo people. People say that the fear of Igbo domination. What are they going to dominate? What are they going to dominate? What about the small-scale businesses throughout the whole country? Igbo control it. the economy, and it will be functioning very well. But if you are giving them a larger economy, they will develop it for the interest of this country. That is my belief, and I sincerely believe that if the mantle of leadership, political mantle of leadership is seated to Igbo, within 4 years, the economy of this country will develop. Like Singapore, like Brazil, like India. And I'm saying it here. I want you to record it, because maybe probably I will not be alive tomorrow because of my age. We have to shift the leadership to the southeast. Leadership must be shifted to the southeast, because the injustice is too glaring for everyone to see.
The injustice is too glaring for everyone to see. So true. Now listen to this Fulani man give his perspective on why Yorubas are uncomfortable with an Igbo person or with the word Biafra.
Please, let's read out what this honest Fulani man wrote concerning Biafra at the mention of it. Are you ready? Let's go. Khalid Yazidu wrote, why the Yorubas are afraid of Biafra. The name Biafra is not just a word. It is a living wound in the conscience of Nigeria. Biafra is a mirror that, whenever mentioned, forces the Yoruba elites to confront their historical dance with power, their silence in the face of genocide, and their calculated bargains that came at the expense of truth and justice. That is why the name Biafra unsettles the Yorubas so deeply. For the Hausa, it was war. For the Igbos, it was survival. But for the Yoruba, it became an opportunity to negotiate power and future dominance. This is why the word Biafra echoes like thunder in Yoruba memory. Biafra reminds the Yorubas of the pact they made with injustice, a pact that still bleeds into Nigeria's present. The Yoruba intellectuals and political class may write volumes, draft constitutions, and sing of democracy, but the ghost of Biafra will always sit at the table with them. No matter how they twist history, every time Biafra is remembered, it whispers the truth, that unity built on betrayal will never bring peace, and that silence in the face of another people's suffering is itself a louder crime. The Yorubas fear the name not because of what it means for the Igbo alone, but because it unmarks the Yoruba role in preserving a Nigeria founded not on justice, but on compromise with blood.
Deep, wouldn't you say? The reason I bring these things is none of them is being said by an Igbo. Everything you hear is coming from a conscientious Yoruba person or a conscientious Fulani person. I bring it to you to prick your conscience as a Nigerian. I want to see a Nigeria that works. I want to see a Nigeria where I trust people I don't trust today. You should want the same, because if we can find that Nigeria, we're all going to be happy. Now listen to this last Fulani man talk about the man called Peter Obi.
Who our leader is, Mr. Peter Obi, a man whom I believe and I think that I've had the most rare privilege to have worked with. I mean, I say this thing not lightly, but I can tell you that in the last 2 years, I've been given the rare privilege to have traveled with him all over the world. And it's something that will always remain with me for the rest of my life. Of course, you know that my book will have to come too, because there are areas, when I think about flying from Abuja to London, from London to Houston, from Houston to Phoenix, from Phoenix to California, and back to Texas, and back to London, and back to Abuja, all within just 5 days. That's how strong mentally and physically Mr. Peter Obi is. I never thought I was strong until I was given this rare privilege to work with him very closely. He's not a man that, I never had his number even through the elections in 2022, 2023. It was after the protest that I led for over 23 days, being in DSS, going through all kinds of things, my properties being seized. Even though I was the official MC of the Obidadi campaign organization, I never had that intimate contact with him. I never knew that he took notice of everyone and everybody and the nuances through the madness of the movements from Sokoto to Zamfara to Abuja to Lagos to Ibadan to all kinds of places, to the bushes in Mubi to Mopa to all the places we went to. Mr. Peter Obi is somebody who is a man of detail. The day he was talking to me about myself, and incidentally Aisha Yusufu was there in Lagos, I started crying because, number one, I didn't do any of the things I was doing because I wasn't doing it to Mr. Peter Obi or for Mr. Do you understand what I mean? I was doing it for the nation called Nigeria. Yes, he was a presidential candidate. Yes, he's a mentor, a father, and a leader. But I wasn't doing it. He could be the beneficiary of it, but I was doing whatever I was doing for the nation. So unlike many people, I was never entitled. I've met thousands of people across the world and nation who felt that, oh, Mr. Peter Obi hasn't gotten the attention. The day he called me on the phone, I chuckled because he said, Ogamo, I still remember, like yesterday, 2 years ago exactly, told me how he watched through the proceedings of the campaigns and said every time I lifted the microphone that there was an ambience and the atmosphere changed. He recounted how he knew that I wasn't like in the inner caucus of the campaign, but I spent my money going from state to state. When he started talking about those details, it got me in tears. That's Mr. Peter Obi, a man who understands global finance. Of course, a wealthy man, but one who understands, who has respect for money. A concrete trader. I haven't met anybody who understands money and finance and the economy like Mr. Peter Obi. A trader to the core. One whom you will mistake him because of his humility. I can remember home and abroad and in many places where, I mean, a few weeks ago he had a lecture in London Business School, and I remember when I was talking with the organizers, and I said, sir, they want us there. He said, no, what is the time written on that, on the ivy? I say it's 11 o'clock. But the organizers are telling me we need to be here. No, at this particular time. He said, no, we're going to be there at the stipulated time that is written on the ivy. And of course, he was there, sitting there. He comes to a meeting late, whether by flight or by anything, he sits right behind, and he insists to sit right behind. The qualities that we talk about has enshrined the stories that I hear. What makes him a trailblazer are these details of integrity, of honesty. They are this foundation, the fulcrum of humanity. They are the basis of things, so difficult, but yet he keeps to it regardless of who is watching. That's what makes him a trailblazer. And I can recount some of the things that, takes me aback. Like I said, I've been given a rare privilege to have traveled with him from Qatar to Indonesia to 17 states in America. Everywhere I've been with him, and for most places alone. So I know the man. I can speak of him when it comes to loving a nation or a people like a father who truly commits to the innate desire of nation building. Yes, he does. Whether it has to do with sitting beside him with presidents of nation, from President Jonathan to IBB, or to President Paul Kagame, or to the former president of Indonesia, and to the leaders in Qatar. The privileges have been given to sit side by side, talking to ministers and ambassadors in Indonesia, just because of what he brings to the table, understanding of the status quo, the nuances of the present day Nigeria, what it means, the energy that we all, he exemplifies and is sitting on the niche. He understands what you are going through. He understands what the elites, for lack of a better description, conspiracy is about, and yet he stays above the water.
That is it, guys. These stories are better told by non-Igbos, because when Igbos tell those stories, it sounds tribalistic. What we're looking for is a Nigeria that works. It doesn't matter who makes it work, as long as they make it work. I will support a Fulani man that is out to fix Nigeria, not to start an Islamic state. I will support a Yoruba man that is out to fix Nigeria, not to be doing tiwa. I'll support any Nigerian. It doesn't have to be Peter Obi. It just happens that in these elections coming in 2027, there is only one candidate that thinks Nigeria globally, and that candidate is Mr. Peter Obi. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Wampo coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
We've undertaken to make a difference. Our foundation is passionate about empowering communities and fostering growth. We are grateful for the opportunity. We invite you to follow us on our social media, Facebook and Instagram at Munacha Charity Support Foundation. You can also reach out to us via these platforms or through email if you have any questions. In the same vein, we'd like to extend our gratitude to all our supporters and partners.
Fred Wampo Publisher, African Lifestyle Magazine, Chicago. Wampo in the Chicago Jemba. Onya Chukukosi. Mama do,